It might not seem like a big deal at first. You found a convenient place near a major road, close to shops, public transit, maybe a little noisy, but nothing you can't sleep through, right? But beneath the convenience lies a chilling truth. The closer you live to a busy roadway, the more you're exposing your brain to an invisible onslaught. Recent research is now confirming what many in environmental health have long suspected, that there's a disturbing link between living near high-traffic areas and a significantly elevated risk of developing dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. Not just a few extra cases here and there, but a measurable population-level increase in brain decline. It's not just noise. It's not just stress. This is about chronic, toxic exposure to microscopic pollutants, ultrafine particles, nitrogen dioxide, brake dust, and soot that penetrate deep into the body and, yes, make their way into the brain. Several large-scale studies, including one from Canada that tracked over 6.6 million people for more than a decade, have found that people living within 50 meters, about 160 feet, of a major roadway had a significantly higher risk, in some cases up to 12% more, of developing dementia than those living farther away.
You read that right.
Just living next to a highway may be enough to tilt the odds against your mental clarity in later life. And we're not talking about rare, isolated cases. This affects millions. Your morning coffee with a view of the freeway might be coming with a side of future cognitive impairment. How exactly does this happen? The answer is sobering. Researchers have pinpointed a cascade of biological effects triggered by long-term exposure to traffic-related air pollution. First, there's the obvious route. These tiny particles, especially PM2.5 and even smaller ultrafine particles, get inhaled and enter the bloodstream. From there, they can cross the blood-brain barrier, that last line of neurological defense. Once inside, they don't just sit around politely. They spark inflammation. Chronic, low-grade brain inflammation, the kind that slowly corrodes neurons, accelerates the formation of beta-amyloid plaques, and disrupts synaptic communication. Sound familiar? That's the hallmark of Alzheimer's pathology. In fact, autopsy studies of elderly individuals who lived near major roads show more signs of brain inflammation, oxidative stress, and even early Alzheimer's like brain changes compared to those from quieter, cleaner areas. And here's the kicker. These effects aren't necessarily dependent on pre-existing conditions. You can be perfectly healthy, no family history of dementia, eat your leafy greens, and do Sudoku every morning, but if you've spent years inhaling freeway fumes, your risk may still be significantly elevated. Worse still, the effects appear to be cumulative and silent. There's no warning sign, no, your brain is in flaming app alert. One day you forget your keys, the next you're missing entire conversations. This isn't about acute poisoning, it's about decades of chronic exposure grinding away at your cognitive resilience until one day it gives way. And no, you're not safe just because you don't smell the pollution anymore. The smallest, most dangerous particles are odorless, invisible, and can travel miles. Just because your windows are closed doesn't mean the damage isn't happening. In fact, indoor air often contains high concentrations of outdoor pollution, especially in buildings with poor insulation or ventilation systems that pull in air from the surrounding streets. So even if you don't see smog outside your window, your hippocampus might be slowly roasting in a bath of neuroinflammation. Some try to dismiss this by saying correlation doesn't equal causation, which is technically true, but disingenuous. The consistency of findings across studies, combined with strong biological plausibility and emerging animal data, makes this more than just coincidence. In lab experiments, mice exposed to simulated highway pollution developed memory problems and brain inflammation strikingly similar to early-stage Alzheimer's. And guess what? Their brains aged faster too. The reality is that living near a major road isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's a long-term health risk, one that's largely invisible, unregulated, and widely ignored. City planning rarely takes neurodegeneration into account. Housing developments keep popping up next to busy interstates. Families move in, unaware that their proximity to convenience might be trading in their future mental independence. This should be a public health warning, not a footnote in urban design. Because the threat isn't isolated to people who already have cognitive issues. It extends to anyone who spends decades breathing in traffic exhaust. And the longer you stay, the greater the odds that you're unknowingly marinating your brain in a neurotoxic haze. So here's your grim, reality-based warning. That house near the overpass? That cute apartment next to the main road? You may be getting more than what you paid for. You're also signing up for potential long-term brain damage, one lungful at a time. If Alzheimer's runs in your family, this isn't just a red flag, it's a foghorn. And if it doesn't, well, pollution may be about to start that legacy for you. Unfortunately, there's no filter for this kind of damage. No quick detox. Once the inflammation starts, the best we can do is try to slow it down, but reversal? That's still science fiction. Your best bet? Distance. Air purifiers, green buffers, reduced exposure, all worth considering. But even better is asking the hard question, why are we still building homes where the air is quietly killing us? Because when it comes to dementia, the real tragedy is that by the time you realize you should have moved, you might no longer remember why.